My name's Linda Lee. I have been an artist my entire life, creating with all sorts of mediums. Recently, I started wood burning canoe paddles, something I had no experience with. I picked it up very quickly doing a practice paddle. When I got the feeling of the burner, I tried a more advanced drawing and decided to film the process. This one is a coho salmon. I first started by gridding the paddle and photoshopping a grid onto the photo on my phone. I spent years learning how to freehand proportions and have now figured that I can get the rough sketch and proper proportions in less than a quarter of the time I would spend hours erasing and redrawing whilst freehanding. Proportions are key to realistic artwork. I quickly do a rough outline using the grid, then erase the grid and add the smaller details and change up some of the lines to make it more pleasing to the eye. Using my wood burner on medium heat, with the pointed tip tool, I start outlining the fish. I've done a lot of work with markers and got used to perfecting my lines the first try. I always do parts of the head or face of an animal first. If you screw up on a face, there is no fixing it. Wood burning can't be erased, and if I got the fish's head wrong, it would have ruined the whole drawing and I would have had to scrap the whole piece. I then started shading. Hardness and color of the wood affect the outcome of the color of the burn. If your heat is too high, your color will be black. If it is too low, the wood won't burn. Using the tool on medium heat and letting it warm up in between burns is how I kept the shading even. I am very ADHD with art. I started doing the scales of the fish and switching back to shading his head. During this time, I was afraid I had made the fish too dark, but I didn't want to give up. With art comes a lot of patience. Just the upper scales alone took me over half hour. I was actually unhappy how I did my scales. Later in this video, I will explain how to do more realistic looking scales I was able to accomplish on another paddle. I then started to shade the areas I wanted darker to match the overall picture. Getting bored of shading, I switched to the fins. Instead of realistic looking light fins, I wanted the rays of the fins to be very bold. I did his lateral line and continued with his pectoral fins. I shaded lightly on medium heat and did the rays of the fins on high heat. I've been happy exploring my artistic skills and creating with new mediums. Since high school, I've had very little time to pursue my art. Purposely setting aside days to do art has made my life have more purpose. When I leave this earth, I want the things I created with my hands to be hanging around long after I'm gone. I went back and forth, doing the head, creating darker lines, back to the fins, and just took my time perfecting my craft. The bottom scales, I used low heat. I was too lazy to make the scales look like actual scales and resorted to doing the childish method of uneven circular scales. A more efficient and elegant way to do the scales is by gridding a crosshatch and following the lines, making one side of the diamond shape round or oval, which I did here on this other paddle. The comparison looks much better and only requires a little bit more effort. The rest of the time was just fixing up the drawing, shading more from light to dark and making it even. I love the look of developing spawning salmon. The kaipen teeth are so fun to draw. My coho was starting to become alive, and I was proud of my work. The final step, I put on a daughter tool and used pointillism to make the shading blend more and add depth and texture, also giving the coho spots. And that's it! The paddle is now varnished and ready. Since this coho, I have made a beautiful cutthroat for my mom and a close-up coho. Wood burning is a super new process for me. Most of my life I have spent doing portraits with acrylic paint and graphite pencil. Most of my art has been given away throughout the years, and I wish I had kept more of it. Now all I have to remember it by is blurry photos. My paddles are available for sale. Paddles are fully functional and are a great addition to your canoe, or can be used as a beautiful cottagecore wall decoration. Custom paddles can be drawn upon request and come in a few sizes. For more information, feel free to message me on Instagram at Life of Linda Lee. Tell me what you guys think, and thanks for watching.